Hello. In this episode, we will discuss how to convert a 2017 to 2018 Subaru FB25 to run properly in 2011 to 2016 Foresters. Other applications are also possible, various Legacy and Outback models, for example. You might be dying to know why we would want to do this. Well, the answer is simple. We are going to use an engine that is less expensive and more reliable. There are four main parts to this process. The first step will be to change to camshaft tone wheels. There is one on each of the intake camshaft phasers behind the timing cover. Second, we will change the crankshaft tone wheel and the sensory equipment. Third, the coolant manifold and EGR system will need to be moved over from the original engine. Fourth, we will use a custom Part 1 made to adapt the intake manifold from the older style engine to the new one. More on this shortly. Here is a parts list. I will also include a link to the part I've made. This tool is designed to hold the crankshaft pulley so that you can remove the bolt. It can be found on eBay or Amazon for a reasonable price. I have already loosened this crankshaft pulley bolt, but you can see the mechanics of how it works. Once the bolt is removed, the pulley will simply slide out of the oil pump drive. This is a good time to inspect the pulley for damage and also verify that the keyway in both the oil pump drive on the back of the pulley and the crankshaft itself are in good condition. I did have a used engine shipped to me that had been hit in the front hard enough to break the keyway in the pulley and mar the crankshaft. This is a major component, and an issue like that should not be overlooked. If you find damage in this area, you'll want to exchange the engine for a good unit. Now we need to get the timing case unbolted and removed. Take your time and make sure you do not bend or crack the case. This will need to cleaned thoroughly before reassembly. A side note here, many of you will need to use the timing cover from your original engine, especially if you are installing the 2017 or 2018 engine into a car that still has a steering pump mounted to the accessory drive. The newer vehicles that have electrically driven and self-contained power steering systems, starting in 2014 for the Subaru Foresters, may use the new cover. If you do use your old timing cover on your new engine, consider this. Many of these older engines are being replaced because they are making metal. Either the bottom end bearings have failed, or the engine has a compromised head gasket and has subsequently overheated. Either way, the old engine's oil should be considered contaminated. The old case needs to be thoroughly cleaned of any contaminants before installation on the new engine. I also recommend that you swap over the oil pump from the new engine, since the oil pumps on these are mounted to the backside of the timing case. It is an easy process, but it requires diligent cleaning. On to the camshaft tone wheel replacement. As you can see, the tone wheel that is in my hand here has notches in 3 places around the circumference of the wheel. The 2017 and 2018 engines have a different sensing system on them. Those wheels have ticks instead of notches, as you can see here. Also, there is an alignment pin in the front of the camshaft phaser that will prevent you from misaligning the sensor wheel. That is good. I like that. Also, there is very small writing on the front of the tone wheel that shows it is either a left or right side placement. That's very helpful. Just match it to the engine and you'll be getting groceries in no time flat. To change the wheels, you'll need an E16 socket. Oh, don't overlook the circlip in the middle. Either wear some sunglasses or have an eye surgeon on standby. Your call on that one. Once we are done, we will go on to the other side and do the same thing. Here are the O-rings we will be using. I have laid them out so that you can see the part numbers. I would only use genuine Subaru parts for these just due to quality concerns. I also have a new front main seal that we will be using. For the O-ring installation, I use a little engine assembly lube to get them to stick to the block. Just make sure that the timing case sealing surface is kept clean and free of any oil while you complete this process. There are different products that can be used to seal the timing case, as Subaru does not produce a gasket for this. In fact, Subaru has their own product similar to what is used in the factory to seal these engines. I like the Permatex Right stuff. I haven't had any trouble with it. Now we proceed to the crankshaft sensor. You will need to use the crankshaft tone wheel as well as the sensor from the original engine from the car. Now, you also need to use the sensor holder from the old engine. This can get a little tricky because they are a bit delicate and tend to bend and crack when removing them. I have had to buy new ones at the Subaru dealer. It's about $40 if you need to. Hot tip here. Take your time and work deliberately when swapping over the crankshaft tone wheel and sensor holder. The only time you have access to this system is when the engine is out of the car. Mistakes in this area could be a major setback. Make sure that you use the crankshaft tone wheel for the old engine, or the engine original to the car. They are not the same. Here is what the sensors look like. The larger diameter unit is the older style. Also, if your vehicle has an automatic transmission, you will have to use the flex plate for the transmission that you intend to use. The flex plate that comes on the newer engines is for a continuously variable transmission or CVT. It is not the same diameter or bolt pattern, despite the fact that it looks similar from a distance. Now the coolant manifold and EGR system needs to be brought over from the original engine. It's pretty easy. You can see the difference there between the two. For the intake manifold, we will use an aluminum adapter plate on this, since the port shapes are not the same, but the bolt pattern is. This is a custom part that I drew in a computer-aided design program and had laser cut from quarter-inch aircraft-grade aluminum. It's pretty hot, right? I will put the link for the part in the comments. Since we added a quarter-inch in height with the adapter plate, the distance from the coolant manifold to the intake manifold has changed by that amount. So, here is one solution without getting too complex. Use some Permatex to get a good bead on the intake where the EGR tube bolts to it. Then remove the tabs on the EGR tube flange and attach it with washers. There is adequate space to slide the tube down slightly, and this seems to seal without issue. I have done plenty of these and it works great. If you use this method to install the newer FB25 into your car, you won't have any check engine lights, it will pass emissions testing, and the car will run and drive great. Don't forget, we're all counting on you. Let me know in the comments if you have any additional questions. Thank you for watching. Please check out my eBay store in the link below. If you have any questions, please reach out in the comments. I do the best I can to answer all of them. Thanks again.